Hey VC, it's Maria here. I apologize if my voice sounds hoarse. This is the third time I'm trying to make this video and my throat is starting to get strained. But anyways, the time where I am is actually 1:21 in the morning. Still trying to shoot this video. So you know what? I'll do the best I can. Hope I don't bore you too much, but if you're going to sit through this video, I'm going to warn you ahead of time. It's going to be a long video because I have a lot of stuff to show. A lot of the records I'm going to share with you tonight, or pardon me, this morning, are all from a bargain bin Into the Music. One of my favorite record shops that I like to go to buy vinyl. Buy cassettes, buy CDs. Just one of my favorite stores. And it's really easy to get to. But money was a little bit tight, didn't have a whole lot to spend, so I decided to just shop in the bargain bin for vinyl, because basically what I was trying to do is just replace some of the copies that I had before as inexpensively as I possibly could. So honestly, I wasn't expecting to find the things that I found there. I had arrived at the store at about 3:30, and by about 7:45 I had, I think, maybe 66 records. 66 records I actually walked away with. So when I show you what I found, I think the best part about all this is the fact that all of these records play beautifully. Some have surface noise, but none of them skip, and that's the best part. And that's probably why I've started now just going straight, making a beeline for the bargain section, because I had such a good experience with my first bargain bin purchase, and that's what this is. Excuse me. So yeah, this video, like I said, it's gonna take a while. Get yourself a drink, get yourself some snacks, sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the video. I hope I make it as pleasant and as painless for you as possible. What we're listening to right now in the background is Billy Talent 3. Billy Talent's a Canadian band. I think they're out of Toronto. You know what? I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me. But I really like Billy Talent. I first heard Billy Talent on the radio. I think I heard the song Try Honesty. And the funny thing is, I thought it was Pearl Jam. I don't know why I thought it was Pearl Jam, but it was just such a good song. I love the guitar work on it. But then I was at work one day and the song came on, and lo and behold, it was actually Billy Talent, a new band. And so I rushed out and I bought the CD. They have a total of 5 albums out right now. They have Billy Talent, the debut, Billy Talent 2, Billy Talent 3, like the one I just showed, and Billy Talent Hits, and Dead Silence, and that's the 5th album that actually isn't a Billy Talent 4, I guess you could say. Actually has a title this time. Haven't heard that album. I heard excerpts of it on YouTube. I don't know, I thought it was a pretty good album. What I want to do is I want to get it on vinyl. I want to actually get all of his albums on vinyl if I can. I know Billy Talent is on vinyl now, the debut, but it's going, I think, for $50. It's pretty expensive. I don't know if 2 is out on vinyl yet. Don't know about 3, but I know Dead Silence is, I know Hits is, so there you go. So let's not make this video any longer. Started off with 38 Special Forces. This was a good album. I always liked 38 Special. The song that turned me on to them was the song Teacher Teacher, and I think that was from the movie The Outsiders. I could be wrong though, because it was a long time ago. But it was Teacher Teacher that really got me interested in 38 Special. Next, Ambrosia, Life Beyond LA. And Ambrosia, I think, is a good 70s rock band. I think that was released in the early 80s though. A replacement copy for mine. This is Angel, hell of a band. Hell of a good record. This is really good. If you like 70s rock, definitely check out Angel. You won't be disappointed. Here's a band I wasn't familiar with. This was a blind buy. This is Avery. They're out of Seattle, Washington. They came on the scene in 1975? Yeah, 1975. And they disbanded, I think, in 1981, something like that. This was the only album they ever released. And this album, by what I could tell, was released also on CD, but I think, can't remember if they said they released 200 copies on gold discs or 2,000. But I do know that they were limited and they're all numbered, so Avery. Bad Company, self-titled. Don't need to say much about this. I'm sure everyone's familiar with this band. This was their debut album. The jacket looks pretty bad, but the vinyl is pretty nice. Just a little bit of surface scratches on it. Nothing too major. Straight Shooter. This has Shooting Star and Feel Like Making Love on it. And I wanted this album for a long time. Since the 80s at least. The Beatles, 62 to 66. And I know what you're thinking. You got that out of a bargain bin? Yeah. The jacket is gorgeous. The sleeves are gorgeous. Record 1, not so much. It's not serious, but if you can see that, I don't know if you can see it. There's a scuff mark on it. It looks like an A. And there's one on this side too. But playing the vinyl, it plays all the way through. It doesn't skip. And that's, I think, the main thing. There might be a little bit of a surface noise on it due to that, but I was happy to get this album regardless. Rubber Soul. This one plays all the, like I said, all these records play all the way through. Some have surface noise, but none of them skip. And that's the main thing. Hey Jude. When I bought this record, when I looked at the track listing, I thought, I should have known better and Can't Buy Me Love. I'm not sure why they put those two songs on this album, considering it's from the early Beatles catalog. I think they could have replaced those two songs with something more along the period that the rest of the songs were in. Moving on, we have Blackfoot, Marauder. This was a really good album. I only listened to it once, but I remember liking it a lot. I actually have Blackfoot Chicago on cassette. I haven't played it in a while though. Patsy Cline, The Patsy Cline Story. Not a big country music fan. I have some favorite artists. Patsy Cline wasn't one of them. But the reason I picked this out was because this was one of my mother's favorite artists. And there are times where I think back to my childhood, and it's kind of nice to be able to listen to something that you remember listening to growing up. And I remember listening to a lot of Patsy Cline, and this was all before I even was able to start school. And yeah, so it just kind of brings back a lot of fond memories of my mom. Next, Phil Collins, Face Value. This is actually near mint, this album. It was actually brought out at about 8 o'clock. This was the second stack of vinyl that was put in the bargain bin after I'd already picked out a pile that I, paid for. And I thought I was done, but then when he brought out more, I had to go and see what he was bringing out, and this is one of them. I went back to Into the Music just last weekend, and they had another copy of Phil Collins' Face Value, but it was in rough shape, so I lucked out. Coney Hatch, this is their debut album, and I don't know if you can see that, but it looks like it's autographed. Now, whether or not those autographs are genuine, I don't know, but I mean, I only paid $1 for this record, if you can believe it. Moving on, Cream, Disraeli Gears. Not going to say a whole lot about the rest of them, because I pretty much just told you that all these records do play all the way through without any skipping. Some have surface noise, others just play beautifully. So, this is my second Del Fuegos album. This is Boston, Mass. It's a promo. When I played this album, I actually really enjoyed this album. It had like a positive feeling to it, I guess you could say. I just came away, feeling really good after listening to it. Some records, they just have a tendency of putting you in a better mood than you might have been in before, and that's what that album did for me. Fleetwood Mac, debut. I was surprised to find that there's like five hits from this album that I was familiar with, and Rhiannon was one of them, and that's one of my favorite songs by them, and I had no idea it was on this album, so I was really happy to get this. Herman's Hermits, Best Of, Volume 2. Next we have Idolize, their debut. And this is the one that has the hit Tokyo Rose. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but if you're not, go on YouTube, check it out. It's actually not a bad track. Like I said, it's the hit from this album. I don't know what the other hits from it would have been. Billy Joel, Piano Man. I always thought this had a really creepy looking cover to it. The back is creepier than the front, but it's a good album. Now, I don't know why this was in the bargain bin, because really all it needed was a nice, like a good cleaning. Judas Priest, Point of Entry. But whatever the reason, I lucked out because now I have it. I think I only paid like $2 for it. Here's a Kansas, Leftoverture. And this is the one that has Carry On Wayward Son on it. Moving on, King Crimson. And this one is called, I keep forgetting the title of this one, In the Court of the Crimson King. And this is actually an original press. It's on a red Capitol label. Next we have Crocus, Headhunter. Led Zeppelin, with 4. I'm sure everyone's familiar with the Gatefold. And this has got a lot of good songs on it. Stairway to Heaven being the most popular from the album. That's one song that I always heard at school dances or socials, that sort of thing. But Rock and Roll and Black Dog are also on the album, which are really good songs. Gordon Lightfoot, Best Of. Had this one on cassette. I really like Gordon Lightfoot. He is labeled as a folk singer. But I mean, if you know anything about Gordon Lightfoot, you'll know he's Canadian, out of Nova Scotia. And you'll also know that the one song he'll always be remembered for will be the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And I mean, that's just a really good song. If you're not familiar with Gordon Lightfoot and you know you want to get familiarized with him, check out the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. That's a really good song. Gordon Lightfoot stuff, not easy to come by. Definitely not cheap, but I lucked out and found about 3, maybe 4 Gordon Lightfoot albums in the bargain bin that were actually in really nice shape. So I have those on hold right now. C.W. McCall, this is Black Bear Road. And this one has the song Convoy on it. I was actually recovering from German measles, chickenpox, and pneumonia when I heard the song Convoy. Yeah, I was out of school for about a month. I missed the Valentine's Day party that our class was having, and I was really upset. But anyways, on my road to recovery, as I was getting a little bit better, I heard the song Convoy, and I always remembered that was a good song. And when I finally found out who did it, I immediately started trying to find anything by C.W. McCall with that song on it, and I lucked out with that one. Paul McCartney, Band on the Run. Not sure if this is a Wings album or just a Paul McCartney album, but jacket's in rough shape, but the vinyl is in good shape. Eddie Money, self-titled, has the hits 2 Tickets to Paradise and Baby Hold On. And I thought I put this one back, but I guess I didn't. So I got an extra copy of this one. I can't take it back because, again, it's the bargain bin records are all final sales, so I have an extra copy. That second one actually has some surface scratches on it. I haven't played it, so I don't know if it's going to skip. Maybe I should play it and find out. Montrose, self-titled. I believe this is their debut. This is what I didn't know about this was Sammy Hagar was the lead singer for Montrose. The first time I heard of Montrose was around 2001. My ex-boyfriend actually had the CD of theirs, and yeah, that was the only time I actually saw this particular album. And then we have Warner Brothers Presents Montrose. And by this time, Sammy wasn't with the band. Bob James took over on vocals, and they brought in Jim, you know what? Alcover, this guy, on keyboards. This album actually wasn't bad. I actually liked this one, if you can believe it. And I think it was because of the keyboards. If that makes me unpopular, oh well. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Debut. Breakdown and American Girl are the hits from this album. If you remember the movie Silence of the Lambs, the girl was in her car jamming out to American Girl. I love that track. Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. One of my favorite Pink Floyd albums. The first time I bought this album was back in 1986, I think. And, what was it? Shine On You Crazy Diamond was a song that I really liked from this album. Next, we move on to Paul Revere and the Raiders, Midnight Rider, or Midnight Ride. Here's one that I was surprised to find. This one's Savoy Brown, Lion's Share. Don't know if this is an original press. It's on the Parrot label. But I was really surprised by how good this album actually was. I liked it so much I actually played it twice the day I bought it. In fact, I would have to say that's probably one of my favorite Savoy Brown albums. Next we have Sniffing the Tears, Fickle Heart. This has the big hit Driver's Seat on it. And that's the only hit from this album. In fact, that's probably the only song on this album I actually like. I don't really like the rest of the album. Now here's an album that I wasn't familiar with the band on any level, and this was the only album they actually had by this group in the bargain bin. Spooky Tooth, The Mirror. Had no familiarity with this album. This was actually a blind buy because wasn't familiar with the band. Didn't know any of their songs, hadn't heard any of their songs, well maybe I might have, but didn't know it was Spooky Tooth. I played this album twice because it was just that good of an album. So as soon as I put this record away, I went to the HMV website to see if I could find Spooky Tooth on CD. No. Vinyl? No. Went to Into the Music. Did they have any more? No. So I think what I'm going to have to do is maybe go on eBay or just keep hunting around the city for a copy of Spooky Tooth or more copies of more records by Spooky Tooth. I have a feeling that one's not going to be an easy one to find. Next we have Cat Stevens. This is Teaser and the Firecat. This is the gatefold. And I'm sure everyone may know that a lot of the album covers to Cat Stevens' albums were actually out of Cat Stevens' portfolio, I guess. I mean, these are all drawings he did when he was a little boy. Excuse me, my voice again. But a lot of his album covers were taken from drawings that he had done when he was little. Then we have Tea for the Tillerman. And the hits from this were Wild World, Tea for the Tillerman, Father and Son, and On the Road to Find Out. And on the other one, Teaser and the Firecat, I don't think I told you, Peace Train and Morning is Broken are the two hits from this album, at least that I know of. Next we have Rod Stewart, Foolish Behavior. I actually have this album, but my jacket is in rough shape, so I bought this one based solely on the cover. The vinyl on this is actually really good. The vinyl on my other one is really good. This one has the hit Passion on it. I'm not sure what the other hits on it. I'm guessing Foolish Behavior might have been a hit from this album too. Next we move on to Supertramp, Carmen Century. Now this was the first record, the first non-Kiss record that I actually purchased. This was released in 1975 maybe? Let's have a look. Looking. Okay, 1974, pardon me. You know, this whole album is just really, really good. School, Dreamer, Bloody Well Right, Hide in Your Shell, Asylum. This album is good from beginning to end. If you like Supertramp, this is the album to start the collection off with, I would think. Yeah, it was with this album that I actually started branching out and discovering other artists besides Kiss. As good as Kiss was, I slowly found out that there are also a lot of other good artists out there besides just Kiss. Next, Breakfast in America. And this is also another really good album. This one has like 6 or 7 hits off this album too. So, and this one, funny as it may sound, this one actually came in a gatefold as well. Taco, After 8. This one has the hit Putting on the Ritz, Singing in the Rain, and Cheek to Cheek. I only like the song Putting on the Ritz. Next we have Pete Townsend, Ronnie Lane, Rough Mix. And that's what this is. It's pretty much just a rough mix. I don't know what the hits from this album would have been, but there's basically a who's who on this album. Guest musicians like Eric Clapton, Charlie Watts, I think maybe even John Entwistle. Yep. It wasn't a bad album, but it's not one I'm going to be playing on a regular basis. Getting down to the end here, we have Urgent, Timing. This was a blind buy. These guys are, I think, from the 70s? Nope, 80s. Early 80s. Good 80s rock band. I only played this album once, so I can't remember just how good it is. Next we move on to Uriah Heep, Salisbury. This was a good listen. What I want to do is get an upgrade on this one. The vinyl, because it's a heavier vinyl, the surface scratches on it aren't making a huge impact on how the record sounds. There is surface noise on it though. But yeah, I like to get an upgrade to this copy. And that's what a lot of these are. These are just temporary records. Look at Yourself. I have this one on cassette, so I already knew how good this album was. Next we have Van Halen's debut, Blacklisting. I don't think I really need to tell you what the hits are from this. I'm sure everyone knows what the hits from this album are. Next we have Blanca, the Orange album. Had this one on cassette, so I already knew that this was a good album. Well, I liked it anyway. I think they're from the 70s. Let's have a look. Yeah, 77. Don Williams' greatest hits. I liked his song Amanda. I think he had other songs on here that I am familiar with. Let's have a look. No, Amanda is the only song I am familiar with, so I'll have to give this one a listen. Now, another blind buy. This is Wireless, Canadian band. This is their debut. This one wasn't a bad listen. It wasn't bad. This one was released in 1976. So, I mean, I only paid $1 for it, so. This one was a little bit better. Positively human, relatively sane. And that's usually what my kids say about me. This was better. This one was released in 1978. Yeah. This one was a better album than the first. And this one's called No Static, also by Wireless, and this one was better, best. This one was produced by Geddy Lee, and that was a reasoning behind even buying this album. In fact, this was the first album I had actually picked up, and I basically, I mean, the colors on this album is what caught my attention. And when I looked at the back and saw that the album was produced by Geddy Lee, I thought, okay, well, it's definitely worth listening to. So, out of those 3 albums, this one would be the best one. I like that one the most. Next, we have Rabbit, Rough and Ready. Have this one on cassette, so again, I already knew that I liked it, so I picked it up on vinyl. And then we have Yes Songs. This is a 3-record set, as I'm sure everyone is aware of. Okay, so I gotta kind of be careful here. Interesting thing about this album. What does side 1 say? Volume 2. And side, what is that? Side 2? It says volume 3, right? Side 1 is actually volume 3 as well. They just put the wrong label on it. So I just thought that was, I thought that just made this album unique, just for that factor alone. So that, I think, was 56 records. I'm going to go through the last 10, because the last 10 are just soundtracks and compilations. So if you're up for that, I'll whip through these as quick as I can. St. Elmo's Fire. Loved the movie. Soundtrack was okay. American Graffiti. And I bought this one based on the fact that my sister's friend actually brought this over to our house once, and it's just a memory thing for me, but I saw the movie, liked the movie, and I also like the music from the movie, so that's why I picked up the album. Now this was, I was so happy when I found this, and the fact that I only paid, I think, like $4 for it. FM. And this has just got a who's who, artist-wise. I've been after this album for a long, long time. I actually had it back in the 80s, but I haven't seen it since. The first time I saw it was at the record show last year, and it looked like it was in really rough shape, so I didn't buy it. I passed up on it. But then I saw this one, and I figured, you know what, I'm never going to find a near mint copy of it, so I may as well grab what I can, and that's what I did. Next, Solid Gold. And this has just got like 50s and 60s music on it. Cool. The interesting thing about this is it gives you a little history about Ronald McDonald House. The fact that it first opened up, I think, in 1974. Yeah, in 1974, the first Ronald McDonald House opened its doors in Philadelphia. And I'm sure everyone's familiar with Ronald McDonald House. It's a place where sick children can go and forget about their illnesses and that sort of thing. And I think it's just a really great place. I think it's important for companies and that to create things like that for kids, because it's bad enough that kids have to be that sick to begin with, but for them to have some place to go where they can just forget about their illness is just great. Moving on. Compilation, Rock 83. Now, I'm not going to expect you to be able to read that, because I know even I can't read it. Even with glasses on, the red and the blue, it just kind of, for me, it blends in. And it just makes my eyes messed up. Full tilt. And this has artists on there like Diana Ross, The Vapors, Kool and the Gang, Kenny Loggins, Pat Benatar. Just a really good compilation album. Next, 22 explosive hits. And I think this is just early 70s, and yeah, just early 70s rock. 24 electrifying hits. And this is, I think, 60s crop. 24 dynamic hits. And finishing it out, we have Cruisin' 1967. I like the song Bend Me, Shake Me by American Breed. And of course, Silence is Golden by the Tremellos. Those are my two favorite tracks from this album. And that is 66 records done in, I'm not sure how long it took me to do that. But if you enjoyed that, great. I will be doing another video update, or another vinyl update soon, because I still have more vinyl to share with you. I also have some cassettes and some CDs that I will show in the next video as well. So my voice is getting hoarse, and my sinuses are starting to act up. And the fact that it's like almost 2 o'clock in the morning, and I still have to upload this, so thank you for sticking around if you stuck around this long. The next videos will be a lot shorter, I promise you. I hope you're all doing well. And thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it, especially since I don't do videos very often. You know, I do try to make them more frequent. But everything around here has just been really crazy since January. It's just been an uphill battle around here. Just trying to plow through it all, just, you know, take it one day at a time and just don't sweat the little stuff is basically what I'm trying not to do. But anyways, it's getting late. I don't want to keep you any longer than is necessary. If you enjoyed this video, you know, I'm glad. If you're seeing the video for the first time and you enjoyed it, you know what? Leave me a comment, let me know that you liked it. I always look forward to people's comments. And I'm going to close out the video now. So take care, and I will see you in my next update. Bye.